And what do you want? You want your offspring to live as slaves under the elite? Because if you're not part of that top bloodlines, like was talked about earlier in the report, how these people are inbred. If you're not part of that inbred, that inbreeding, them bloodlines there, you're not part of the elite at all. And your family is under attack. You are under attack. The more and more of us that die from diabetes and heart disease and cancer, and it's not only just Alzheimer's and autism, how they get people on these mass amounts of pharmaceutical drugs. It's the fact that these eugenicists don't even want your loved ones to live past a certain age. If you're in, there's going to be no nursing homes. None of this. You will be terminated. If you don't have medical insurance or you can't pay that's it. They're not going to give you the technology. That's what I'm saying. The elite, they create these problems and they are posing as the saviors, and the solution is always a one world government. An unelected fascist world government whose total intention is to control a dumbed down microchip society. That is the fact of what we're dealing with here. Here come out of the Natural News, Friday, July 10th, 2009. ADHD drugs proven absolutely useless for children, plus they stunt growth. See what I'm saying? They invent all these things, and they invent these cures, these so-called medicines and stuff, which all that does is it decreases sperm count, causes infertility, especially affects the development of the brain in a lot of cases. And these are the ways that they're dumbing down society and getting people on all these drugs. I mean, the drug companies themselves admitted that they wanted to increase the amount of children on psychotropic drugs to 50%, and that it would be mandatory for every child, even homeschoolers, to take psychological exams determining whether or not they need to be on these drugs or not. They write up their own plans, their own agendas, the criteria itself. And they've successfully increased the numbers of children that are on psychotropic drugs. Natural News, again, came out Thursday, July 9th, 2009. Panel says all teams should be screened for depression. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force has issued new recommendation published in the journal Pediatrics that all children between the ages of 12 and 18 be regularly screened for symptoms of major depressive disorder. Okay? Now, these journals, like Pediatrics, they're funded by these elitists. The Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, all of these foundations and organizations whose political agenda is one world government, population control, a dramatic reduction in the amount of slaves that they have to keep control of, because as they believe they are superior, and that's their job, is to play God with the environment, play God with people's lives. And they are so deranged and out of their minds that a lot of us fear that they're just going to destroy everything. Like that Professor Pienka, who teaches his students that human beings are a germ that need to be eradicated from the planet. That's just incredible. Incredible. And I've got up here on the website at harrythomas.info for the special report, July 21st, 2009, a historical marker on the east lawn of Indiana State Library and historical building across the street from Indiana State House. And this says a 1907 Indiana Eugenics law. By the late 1800s, Indiana believes criminality, mental problems, and pauperitism were hereditary. Various laws were enacted based on this belief. In 1907, Governor Frank Hanley approved first state eugenics law, making sterilization mandatory for certain individuals in state custody. Sterilizations halted in 1909 by Governor Thomas R. Marshall. So if you think that these laws can't go into effect, you're absolutely wrong. They've already been in effect before. And this is actually just one. This was, like they said, the first of these kind of laws. And on the other side it says Indiana Supreme Court ruled 1907 law unconstitutional. 1921 citing denial of due process under Fourth Amendment. 1927 law reinstated sterilization, adding court appeals. Approximately 2,500 total in state custody were sterilized. Governor Otis R. Bowen approved repeal of all sterilization laws in 1974, and by 1977 related restrictive marriage laws repealed. So they've gone back and they've repealed them and they've reinstated them and they've repealed them. And now look at what the current administrations of recent years have done to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. They've crinkled it up and thrown it away and said this is a document of the past. So, don't think that we're beyond seeing any kind of reoccurrence of forced sterilization and mandatory abortion laws at all. I've got another article up called Eugenics and Other Evils. And this is just way too much to get into, but it talks about how in 1915 Virginia Woolf wrote in her diary of how they were talking about in her writings and H.G. Wells' writings about advocating the killing of race-specific populations that weren't fit to breed. And this is just incredible. All kinds of books were written about eugenics and other evils by G.K. Chesterton. Check it out. I've got the Endgame bibliography. One of the good documentaries out there on eugenics is Endgame by Alex Jones. You can do a Google search and watch that for free. It's also at the website, harrythomas.info. You can click on the banner and it breaks down that movie, citing all kinds of references. Now, this special report here does not even scratch the surface when it comes to eugenics. So this information is well documented. I've got a timeline from 1867 to 2005 showing how eugenics started and where it is today. Eugenics movement is real in America. It can't be denied. There is a movement for this. In fact, there even is an American Eugenics archive. I've got that up. eugenicsarchive.org. You can find it. Eugenics Archive grows to 2,200 plus items, and there's all kinds of photographs of Galton and Davenport and all these guys who started eugenics, people who are eugenicists on the record admitting their plans. We've got the social origins, the scientific origins, the research methods, traits studied, research flaws, eugenics popularization, how they use the media to popularize the agenda, marriage laws, sterilization laws, immigration restrictions. And this tells, of all the incidences that's happened in history about the marriage laws, sterilization laws. And this, again, was funded by a grant by the Ethical, Legal, and Social Implications Research Program at the National Human Genome Research Institute. Now, Rockefeller and all them guys fund this stuff. This is an American eugenics movement. It really exists. It's really happening. These people really want population reduction. They want us dead. This is an attack on us and has been through soft kill viruses and everything else for a long time. The only solution that we have to this is to stand up against this kind of tyranny, against this scientific diabolical movement that threatens the very existence of humanity. I encourage everybody to get this information, this special report, out to everybody that you can, because only an informed public can do something about this madness, and together we will make a difference. I want to thank you for listening to this special report. Please look for future Harry Thomas shows and special reports. Subscribe to the podcasts and keep updated about this push for one world government by the New World Order.